Does staying organized feel impossible? Does it feel overwhelming to just imagine not only staying organized, but getting organized? For those with ADHD, this is a typical feeling and can constantly feel like you're living in chaos, and it can build up fast. The good news is there are simple strategies that you can practice consistently in order to improve the organization in your life. I'm Dr. Murphy, Coach Murphy. I've been supporting, helping, educating young adults, students, parents, and families with neurodiverse needs overcome these types of challenges. I'm going to share out 3 strategies and 3 processes that you can practice today and start building organizational systems in your life. Because we all know that being organized and building organizational systems in your life makes life feel easier. It doesn't mean that it's easy to do, but it makes life feel easier if we can build these types of processes in our life. And so I'm going to teach you, I'm going to kind of share out just 3 strategies. Now, these are kind of foundational, so start there, and you can build other strategies on top of them, but start with these 3. Number 1 is create a home base for those daily essential things that you might constantly be forgetting or misplacing. And here's what you do. And just before I even say that, this is a research-based suggestion, right? In 2018, there was a study done in the Journal of Neurodevelopment. And if you build just a simple home base-like system, you'll improve by over 30% your well-being and your feeling of organization on these essential things that you have to manage each day. Your wallet, your keys. Okay, here's what you do. Grab a bowl or some type of bright canister. I'll tell you, here's an example. One of my clients, years ago, he had this strategy and he just wanted to build others, so he took on coaching, but he had a strategy he already implemented, and that was he had a green bowl. And this green bowl was so important to him that when he traveled for work, he would take it with him. And he put the green bowl right by the door. So when he came inside the house, things came out of his pockets. Even his cell phone would go in there because it was a place to keep the order of few things that were just so important to him and he'd always lose. And when he was transitioning out of the house in the morning, it became too chaotic, and to get his wife involved and kids. And anyways, he was trying to simplify his life, right? And minimize the chaos, because life can be chaotic. I want to try to minimize it. And that one strategy with that bowl was so important to him that he took it with him when he traveled, and he'd go to the hotel room when he put the bowl at the door. You didn't need that bowl much anymore traveling. You kind of modified it. But my point is, anchor yourself in a strategy that you can really build an emotional relationship with, right? That's called a ritual. Build routines that then form rituals. And so you got to start somewhere. And so think about what's a good place for that to be in my house, that it can allow me to just anchor an organizational system for those types of important things that we may misplace way too often. Strategy number 2 is real important to working memory. It's a really powerful working memory strategy, and it also helps to manage the stress and overwhelm of a day. And that's using a checklist for daily tasks. Now, you don't need a planner, right? You don't need to be kind of opening up your phone and putting this stuff in Google Calendar, as much as you just need a process. Every day I get up in the morning and I have my cup of coffee and I think about what's some of the priorities I got to check off my list today. It can be simply as getting dog food on your way home. But if I don't get the dog food on the way home, my dogs don't eat. And that's overwhelming when I get home and after a busy day. It's 7:30, I'm trying to feed the dogs and I forgot. Right? So you need that type of anchor around what am I using to just track the tasks that I have to manage each and every day. Kind of think of it as a to-do list. It could be sticky notes, but it can also be something on your phone that you kind of trigger with a reminder to say, oh, Google, or you could say, Siri, set a reminder on my phone for when I get home this afternoon to call so-and-so, or set a reminder before I leave work to do so-and-so. You can do that, and it'll set it up on your phone, and it sets up that reminder right away. So you can use tools to really allow you to keep up with the daily tasks of life, right? Because you're busy, you're a professional, you're a parent, you're a spouse, and there's so much to juggle, right? So you have to really buy into a process, and this simple strategy is something you can build on, but I got to practice it now. So think about, when am I going to practice it? Maybe it's in the morning. Every morning I wake up and I think about what's on my list for the day. Maybe before I go to bed, I think about tomorrow and I write down a list of things. That helps with sleep, by the way. If I can do a brain dump before I go to bed, it takes the stress level down, kind of gets the chatter out of my head, and the thoughts calm, and I can put myself to sleep a little easier. Okay, strategy number 3. Again, these are just few strategies, and you can build on them. Just try them out, and then see if I try them out. Ultimate game of any of these strategies is a consistent application of them. I can't let the ADHD kind of emotional dysregulation take over because something no longer is shiny and new, and I stop thinking about using it. it. Well, that's the problem, right? I got to build that goal-directed perseverance to say these strategies are part of who I'm trying to be, and they've become really foundational on the goals that I have for myself. And number strategy 2 is body doubling. This is a really helpful strategy when you think about cleaning an organization. And so I'm trying to think about my space and environment, but it's hard for me to go into the kitchen and get that cleaned up. It's hard for me to think about my room and stuff piles up. It's hard for me to take those clean clothes and put them in my closet. Body doubling is a really powerful strategy. It's just thinking about maybe your spouse or a partner. Maybe it's a buddy that you can call on the phone and they understand your challenges and they understand you and they're super empathetic and they're super supportive. Leverage that, right? Because you're trying to build a support around you, and body doubling is really powerful. The research has shown through the ADHD Foundation that it can increase your productivity by over 40%. That's significant. And so try it out. Make those phone calls, talk to that person that's meaningful to you in your life, and see if they can become a partner so that you are living your best life and not feeling like you're victim of these challenges. It's really helpful. Give it a try. Strategy number 4 is a classic strategy, and it's so easy to implement if I remember. And it's really about using a timer. You have it on your phone. It's always with you, right? So just open it up and say, I'm going to give myself 10 minutes and I'm going to clean up the kitchen. I'm going to give myself 5 minutes and I'm going to empty this dishwasher. I'm going to give myself 15 minutes. I'm going to try to get these 3 things done as quick as possible. It works if I work it, right? It's a strategy, and I got to practice this strategy, especially when you're constantly walking through the disorganization of your environment and you're saying, and you feel that overwhelm, you feel the burden of, I'm a failure, I suck at this, and look at these examples of what I can't do. Be compassionate and then say, okay, what are some strategies that I can implement now and get better at this? That is one, using a timer. Give it a try. Yeah, I've tried it before. Okay, it doesn't mean that it won't work. It does mean I may have to try to work with it to see how I can implement it. And this is what we do with our coaching process, right? Is you got to think through strategies and I got to think through how do I get better at them. And I can't just throw them all out and say nothing will work, right? Because growth mindset and the ability to say, I can overcome these challenges. It's just a question of how. Too many success stories around us to say that it's possible, and you are possible if I have effective strategies that match my strengths and help me work towards certain goals. One of them being organizational systems or, planning and just keeping up with life. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Well, there's only a few strategies, right? Not a litany of them, but you can build on these and you can think through this kind of growth mindset process around what are the strategies that I'm going to own in my life to allow me to be the best version of myself. So creating that home base is pretty basic, but powerful. And it can help anybody that's trying to live a busy life and have those kind of daily moments where they're just creating their own moments of chaos. So try it out. And use a checklist and try to anchor yourself each and every day. Like take a notebook. That becomes my reference of my things I'm trying to get done. Maybe it's an app on your phone. Whatever it is, try to stay consistent with it and create anchors each day when you can do those brain dumps of the things that are on your mind, right? You sit down with your wife every night and you say, here's what you and I are trying to get done tomorrow. What's on my list? And then the body doubling technique is super powerful. Talk to a friend. Talk to a spouse. Talk to a sibling. It doesn't really matter who it is as long as they have a meaningful relationship with you and they're willing to become an empowering person in your life. Set timers as another strategy. Try that out. There's a couple other ones that are super helpful, but let's just start there and we'll build on that. If you need help with any of this, reach out to us, right? We have a team of 20 coaches, master's level professionals in their industries, and they just are super passionate about helping people. If you feel like these strategies resonate with you, but making that leap forward is hard, coaching can help. I hope this video helps you on your journey to be the best version of yourself and achieve your goals. All the best.